Well, I think I was more desperate this time. I think I hit a point where I absolutely realized that I needed help, and that's a whole story of itself. I got to a really bad place, and I realized that I was losing control of my life at a very fast pace, and it was early on. In the drug use of in relationship to other people that are around here. So thank God, but I can't believe I ever got into it. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
It can happen to anyone, and that's the thing. That's one of the things that I've learned here is that it can happen to anyone. And suppressing feelings, it doesn't work. I suppressed feelings for about 38 years of my life. Trauma after trauma after trauma. I just shoved everything down, and I didn't realize how close to the boiling point I was. And at the last, the last part of right before I started doing drugs, I dealt with some major life stuff, injustice, and it just threw me off the edge. But had I done therapy this way before, I wouldn't have gotten to that point. I would have been in a healthier place. I think everybody should be in therapy, even if they're fine, because it's always good to get somebody else's perspective on certain things and to challenge you, and to help you live the healthiest life that you can.
Yeah.
The groups are extremely helpful. The therapy is helpful. It's like group therapy. Sometimes we have 3 therapists in front of us. I mean, imagine that. And they're very different. They're all different in their styles. They're different in the way that they communicate with us. But that's good. That's a very good thing. Tony is amazing as well. He's one of the therapists here. Maria, I've had Maria as well. She's outstanding. They're all incredible, and they have their different strengths and their different ways of going about things. I get stuff out of group every time I go to group, whether it's to learn something or to remember something or to repeat something that I need to be repeated. I've gained self-awareness from being in group. I've gained tools to deal with coping. I've in moments where I get stuck, I don't know what other coping mechanism to use. Well, here are 5,000 other ones that we're going to just list and we're going to talk about, we're going to do together, and then, it's so helpful. That, wanting growth, seeking growth as a value, and being open to growth as a value, and being open to, hey, you know what? There are people out there that understand the way I think. There are people out there that understand me and can help me. There are people out there that have tools that I don't quite have right now, and that's okay. I would tell myself that I'm not the behaviors that I'm exhibiting, and that I can stop, and that there's help out there. And I would tell myself that people love me, and people will, and to love myself. I would tell myself to treat myself the way that I would treat my son, the way that I would treat somebody that I love, because I was not doing that. I would tell myself that this disease that I have, first of all, I would tell myself I have a disease, right? And then I would tell myself that it lies to us. It tells us that we don't have a disease. Everything is fine, that nobody knows, nobody realizes that we have a disease. It's not true. We're constantly lying to ourselves. And it also tells us that we're not enough. It tells us that, it beats us down, it tells us we're not enough. And for those of us that do drugs, oh man, the lies and the manipulation come right before the relapse, and it's a disease that lies to us. And it tells us that we are nothing, that we deserve nothing, and that all that we need to do is to go get another 8-ball or whatever, and that's not true. And it's not us, that's the disease talking, There is a way, there's a way to shut that out. There's a way to work around that so that we can have a life to thrive. And thank God that in 2023 we have the Peters, the Tonys, the Marias, the Margaritas, the Gabbies that get it.
Yeah.
They get it. They get it. They get that we're not those behaviors. They understand what drugs do. They shut down your frontal lobe. You start forgetting how to reason. You start making really, really, really terrible decisions and terrible mistakes because you're not reasoning, and you've got to forgive yourself for that to get past that. You are worth something. You're worth everything. I would say to myself. And the further we get away from the drugs, the clearer we get with our minds, and the more able to thrive we become. Don't be scared. I was scared. I thought that I was going to come here and maybe get arrested. I thought I was going to come here and people were going to hate me. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen when I got here. I've never been here before. I don't trust people. Well, I didn't at that point, right? Yeah, I didn't trust anybody. You have to have the desire, but you also can't be scared to say, you know what? I need help. And when you just do that, you just say, hey, I need help. There's help. When you're doing drugs, it takes you away from your value system. It's the behavior. Tony puts it like this. Tony says, look at yourself as if it was a silent movie. What do your actions tell you? Who are you? That's powerful.
Yeah.
If you want to be a great father, that silent movie has to show that. If you want to be a great whatever employee at your job, the silent movie has to show that. If you want to be a great husband, your silent movie has to show that. And so that's very powerful. I'm working on getting back in touch with all of my values, which I've done a lot of progress on. These are serious goals that I have right now in recovery, because I'm going to be in recovery for the next 60 days. I'm going through the whole program because this is amazing. I've needed the mental health part of this years ago. I want to be selfish right now for a little while, for the next few months, so that I can be selfless again. Love myself again, get back in touch with myself. That's really my goal. Yeah.